Okay, everybody. What a way to start a video. Okay, everybody. Today we're learning about two-dimensional arrays. And in Java, they are actually arrays of arrays. So the way you create them is you do double square brackets over here when you're creating it. So int square bracket, square bracket. So that I think out loud we would say that we're creating a two-dimensional array called nums. And then you got to use two numbers over on the other side. Yeah, the first number is the number of rows, and the second number is the number of columns. And so this makes a 10 by 10 grid. Remember, nothing's changed about our indices. The lowest one is 0, and the highest one is 1 less than the length, 9 in this case. It's important to memorize that Java is row major. That means the first number is always the number of rows. And if you have trouble remembering which is the row and which is the column, you're still a good person. But think about it this way: columns hold up a building. That's how I remember it, honestly. Think of a Greek temple. It's got vertical columns. You're never thinking, oh, those columns that are going sideways. No, columns hold things up. That's the up and down part. So the rows have to be the other one. It says here, Java does support non-rectangular 2D arrays, but our AP test will only be using rectangular ones. So they could be jagged, so they wouldn't be an even number of the same number of every row and column. That's not terrible. It's fascinating. So listen, everybody. Comments, less comments. We use square brackets to access locations, just like with a regular array, just you have two of them. So I'm giving you a little scene. Here's a 10 by 10 int array. I just created it. And now if I make this call, nums 3, 8 equals 7, it's going to set that spot to 7. I have little numbers on the outside so you could see. It's 0, 1, 2, 3, row 3. Remember, it's really the fourth row. And we're going all the way over to the 8th item, which is right there. Questions? Yes?
How would one go about making a hexagonal array?
That's homework for you. Report back, please. The number of rows in an array can be found using, if the array is called nums, you can get nums.length. That tells you how many rows there are. And the number of columns, to find the number of columns, you have to actually get the first row. That's what num0 is. Num0 is an array. We get that array, and then we get the length of that array.
So we're just assuming that the length of the columns in the first row is the same as all the others?
That's what a rectangular array is. They're the same number of columns in every row. That is something we can assume for this class. So we're literally getting the first row. That's what num0 is. And then we're getting how long that array is. So look at the bottom here. The number of elements in a 2D array can be found by multiplying the number of rows times the number of columns, right? 3 rows, 20 columns, 60 elements, 3 times 20. Or in this case, 10 by 10 times 10. So looking down here, nums.length times nums at 0.length. You can also create two-dimensional arrays using array initializers. That's the little curly brackets like we just did in the warm-up with the Annalee High School, except you do arrays of arrays. So here's 2D int array nums equals all this. And this is the first row. This is the second row. That's the third row. So Java figures out what you're asking it to do, and it does it. That must be how you create a hexagonal one. I'm not sure. I'm not going to try. I'm not taking that project on. Johan's going to report back. This is what this code would create. Question?
What happens if, say, in the third array initializer, you only put in 3 items?
That's what I'm saying. That's not going to happen in this class. So you go ahead and experiment. That would be creating a non-rectangular 2D array. And I'm fine with you doing it. We're not going to do it. And I don't know anything about it. So I've never done it. Not because I'm not curious. I'm just a busy person. So yeah, I'm sure that's how you would create a non-rectangular array. That's the only way I know how. But Google it. I'm sure Stack Overflow has essays on it. Here's a quiz, everybody. Look up here. Don't say anything out loud. I would like you to maybe in front of your hand or something rather than like this, say what number is at the location 0, 1. Show me. I'm saying not like this, okay? Say like this maybe, or like this, or something, somehow not to show it to everybody. Please now answer the question. Oren, what's your guess? I'm not seeing an answer.
I don't know.
What number is at the location 0, 1 here? Walker. Okay, I'll just say it out loud. 2. Remember, the first one's the rows. The second one's the columns. So row 0, here we are. Column 1, there's a 2. No, we're doing rows and columns. So forget everything you know about internet, about linear equations and yeah, and I'm not going to translate it into X and Y. So don't worry about X and Y. Think about rows and columns. So now I would like you to do better. I want you to answer this question. And don't do it vaguely, like just be bold. Yes, Austin. I can't tell. Is your thumb involved? Then yes. 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 I can't tell how many fingers are up. Just one no. Row 2. 0, 1, 2. Column 1. 0, 1. It's a 3. Anyway. 2 mice. Okay, we got another one. Let me figure it out. Do we have a problem? Out of bounds. How do you say what? How do you say index out of bounds, exception error in sign language? I think that's just a big F, what? Yeah, what's the length if I do nums.length? No, it's not 12. Yeah. Yes? Yes. You're holding up. Nope. Length is not 4. Everybody, length is 3. Remember, it's the number of rows. Now, this one says get the first row and tell me how long it is. And that's how many columns there are, which is 4. See the 0 here? This is saying get the first row and tell me how long it is. You could use any row, but it's just, we're going to just, in general, and in all my examples, I'm going to get the first row and figure out how long it is because I don't see any point in trying to find out another row. There's going to be a first row. We're not going to create empty 2D arrays that aren't 2D. Well, it's not 2D then, is it? I don't know. I don't know. Blah. So I give up. But somebody say out loud, how do we get to the bottom right? What are the, Quincy?
Is it 2, 3?
I think it's 2, 3. Row 2, column 3.
It annoys me that they don't do X, Y. They do Y, X.
Well, we could just display it differently, but this is how we display it. Folks, it gets better. 2D arrays can be of any data type. So here's a 2D frog array. Oh, yes, we will be doing 2-dimensional frogs. It's more of a real pond, right? Instead of a pond all in a line, we have a pond in a big rectangle. For these, I change it so that the frogs just report their number. Then you could see the grid. So this creates a 5x20 two-dimensional frog pond. This creates a seating chart that's 5x6, a 30 seating chart. This creates a tic-tac-toe board. Did X win? I was like, I should have figured out who won, but oh yeah, it's, I would make somebody win just to Okay, so listen, if you print a 2D array, you get the same useless thing as if you print a 1D array. You get something like this. That's called a hash map instead of that values. So if I ran this code, I would get something like this. So to print these arrays, we use nested for loops, and we're going to cover this on Friday. And in today's assignments, I gave you methods called like print array, so that when you're going to print, you can just call print array and put the method, the array name, and I print it for you just because I didn't want to try to do everything today. And one final note for today's notes, just like with one-dimensional arrays, 2D arrays have default values. Ints and doubles are default 0, booleans default to false, and object string reference data like frogs default to null. So this little thing being in the way, these lines right here create a oh boy. These lines right here create a two-dimensional int array, and if I print 5, it prints 0. And these lines, and I print one of them, it prints null. Isn't that inspiring though, to think about 1,000 by 1,000 array of frog objects? I mean, just think of the possibilities. It gets me. It gets my attention. Okay, so our work today. Next up is a practice REPL, and then there's a Google form, and then we're doing a frog pond, not complicated frog pond REPL that's two-dimensional. And then I say on here, we're either going to do the Unit 7 FRQ, which is on worksheet form, or we're going to do the Unit 7 multiple choice questions, or we're going to do both. It depends. We have a little extra time here today, and I didn't want to get to traversing these arrays. So I will post these things. Oh, I guess I'll stop the video.